Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today, I am joined by CEO and Chief Consultant of T. Scott Consultant, Tava Scott. Tava is a longtime friend. We're actually classmates, and I saw her amazing accomplishments with her and her husband and their company on Facebook. So I wanted to let the listeners know about the services that they provide. They basically focus on helping clients deliver advanced services and helping the clients provide, service to their clients that matters. So we're going to be talking to her about everything that they got going on and everything that they're up to. So Tava, thank you so much for joining me.
Good afternoon. I am so honored to be here, Curtis. As you said, from us going back, being classmates from very early education and going to school together for so many years, being able to circle back is such a full circle moment. And I'm honored to be here and happy to be on your podcast.
Oh yeah, man. We had those elementary days. I mean, we really, went through like all the way through it. But
All the way through high school.
oh yeah, but for those who don't know, you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was raised primarily in DeRidder, Louisiana, which is a very small town in Louisiana, and went through school with my sisters, went through school with my family and family and friends, graduated from high school from DeRidder, moved here to Detroit very soon after. And came to school at University of Detroit Mercy. I started a program, my bachelor's program for clinical psychology. And I was just really interested in the why people do things, why, how people think, how people can get the help that they need. And so I went through that program. And from there, I began working in social services. So I started in protective services, I started in foster care, I worked with domestic violence programs, and I went on to work with transitional housing. At which point, um, at which point I started getting really interested in the quality of services that were provided and how people were treated in the behavioral health program. So whether it be a group home or a transitional housing program or just general how your social workers treat you, how you're provided services, how we understand the needs of the people who need these services. And from there, I got with CARF International, which is the Commission on Accreditation of Rehabilitative Facilities, and it's an accrediting body. And the basis behind CARF is really to measure the standards that clients are being treated with to ensure that clients are getting the very best services, this best service provision, that agencies are not treating clients like they're less than. They're making sure they're treated in a manner of excellence. And I began traveling the country with CARF and going to various agencies throughout the nation and measuring conformance and auditing those programs. And I saw a lot, Curtis. And as I was doing that, I started looking at Black and Brown agencies led by Black and Brown persons. And I started looking at agencies that serve Black and Brown persons. And I started seeing the difference in the way some agencies were treating their clients and other agencies were treating their clients, and how some agencies' infrastructure was created and how some agencies' infrastructure was so lacking. And so I came back, I met with my mentor, and decided to start a consulting firm where our role is to assist clients in building programs and building systems that really help to support the clients, that really help in a manner of excellence. So the key is taking general services and moving them towards excellence. Well, after that, a lot of the states started going to regulatory mandated mandated accreditation. And what happened then is a lot of agencies throughout the country started not being able to meet that higher standard. And so they started closing. And what happens when those programs close is the children that they're serving in those neighborhoods or the adults that they're serving in those neighborhoods have to go outside of the neighborhoods and get services far away. Or there's a service deficit, meaning there's not a group home that can house these children, or there's not a treatment program available. So it affected the access to care. So when we started our firm 10 years, 11 years ago, our objective was to increase the quality of care and the access to care to the people within the community. And over the last 11 years, we service three different states. We operate in Louisiana because, as I stated, that's where our roots are. So I wanted to service an agency there. We also operate in Ohio, which is where my husband is from. And so we service a large community there and various social service programming. And we also service social service programming here in Detroit because that's where we're currently located. So it was really important for us to span that impact to the areas that helped us grow, helped bring us up. Because, as a youth, I had a lot of social service needs, things that went on with myself and my family. And just looking back on how those services were provided really made me inspired to make sure things are available when people need it.
So, what made you want to? What inspired you to want to get into the great things that you and your company, you and your husband are doing?
The main inspiration was knowing what it felt like to need services and them not being readily available. Seeing people who really needed help. And, when I started working in social services, I mean, the things that I went through, I thought that was large, but I'd see some of the things that these boys and girls were going through, these men and women were going through. And I was like, my God, they need help. And so I'd watch how some of them were treated in those systems when they need help. And I was like, we should do so much better than this as human beings. And so I have a heart for caring and a heart for love and treating people well. And I just knew that people needed better. They needed better services. They needed better access to services. So that was my primary motivation.
Okay, well, I know that you guys have been doing some great work and you have been recognized for your great work. So, you know, let the listeners know about that so they know how qualified you and T. Scott Consultant are in this field.
Well, it's very exciting, and I'm very honored. I've done a lot of I've done a lot of presentations. I was a presenter at the American Association on Aging. I am a presenter every year at the Social Work Wealth Conference and highlighted in the Social Work Wealth magazine. I've been published in Forbes three times. I'm a member of the Forbes Business Council. CEO Weekly recently did a feature on me, which I'm so honored about. I've been published recently in the Women's Journal. So there's a lot of really good publicity that's coming out. And the thing that I hope comes from it the most is that people understand that if you have an agency and you're really struggling with the quality of the agency, whether it be a documentation standpoint, that there are consulting firms, plural, but my consulting firm specifically, that will assist you in taking the standards up, increasing your revenue. In the last 6 years, we've written sick and received $6 million in grants for agencies so that they can continue to keep doing the important work, which is servicing the people. There's a lot of the legislation requirements of things that they need to have. For instance, Curtis, like let's say, for instance, you say, you know what, Tava, I want to start a boys' home, right? I have a heart for helping young men. I want to start a boys' home. I bought a home and I want to, just help take care of them. What do we need to do? Well, our team comes in, we write the policies, we teach you the regulations, we work on your licensing and credentialing, we get you accredited, we teach you, okay, Curtis, you can't have six boys in one room. These are the legislative rules in regards to how boys' homes need to be run need to be managed. And we come in as a compliance team, and we don't just come in and give you policies and tell you to be blessed. We come in and we work through the systems with you. We take a look and say, okay, Curtis, when was the last time you did a fire drill? Where's your fire? Where's your extinguishers? Where's your evacuation plan? Let's write this together. And so we come through with you with the years of experience that our team has with servicing for group homes throughout the country. And we say, these are best practice, Curtis. When you do this like this, it can end up like this. These are the things that we've seen. And so we bring and pour the expertise into your program so that when the state comes out, there's no question about whether you're going to get licensed or not. When accrediting bodies come out, there's no questions whether you meet those standards because we've walked you through it. And our educated team comes through and says, look, this is how you do this program. And then we get you open and we get you started. And then you service the kids and you do the work that was on your heart to do. Because no one ever woke up and said, you know what, I want to have a domestic violence shelter. But you know what I really want to do is write that accessibility plan or write that strategic plan or do a performance analysis. No, those are two different sides of the brain, right? So, being that those are requirements, our team comes in and does those things so that you can do the hard work that you're intended to do. And so we service group homes, drug treatment programs, behavioral health programs like adolescent prevention programs, halfway houses, prisoner reentry programs, um, mental health programs all throughout the country in those states that I mentioned. So we have various sites throughout both of those states. And our primary objective is to increase the level of care, to increase the access to care, and to set agencies up in a manner where CEOs can be confident in going to sleep because they know that their documentation and systems supports their success.
You go, and you just answered my next question about who all do you service. So
Yeah.
let the listeners know about, any upcoming projects that you and your company are working on that people need to be aware of.
Okay, so we have lots of exciting things. We're going to be presenting at the NADAC conference, which is the National Association of Addiction Council, and that's going to be in Seattle. And then we're also going to be presenting at the People of Color Conference. This year it's going to be in Montgomery, Alabama. We're also going to be just working throughout the country, working with agencies as there's been so many things that have been changing with legislation. So a lot of agencies are holding on by the seat of their pants because they're trying to see what governmental changes are happening. But we're in and out of Washington and taking a look at all of those things so that we can continue to support the excellent work that is being done by all of these agencies that are serving this very important population.
Okay, well, if there's anybody out there that's in these agencies that would like to work with you, throw out your contact info so people can keep up with everything that you're up to.
Wonderful. I can always be reached at T. Scott Tava S at tscottconsulting.com. That's TAVAS at TSCOTTCONSULTING.com. I can also be reached as Tava Scott at LinkedIn, Tava Scott on Facebook. Also, Tava Scott, excuse me, phone number is 248-508-1675. And then additionally, you can reach out through T. Scott Consulting on LinkedIn and Facebook as well. So we make ourselves accessible and we're open to do consultations to see if our firm is a good fit for the desires of your agencies. But the biggest thing is that we want people to understand that you have a partner. If you're wanting to do the good work and you need assistance, we're here to partner. We're here to ensure that your person served get the very best that you have to offer. And that's what we assist clients in doing.
We'll close us out with some final thoughts. Maybe if there was something I forgot to talk about that you would like to touch on, any final thoughts you have for the listeners.
Final thoughts for the listeners is life is hard. And although it's hard, it's good. And when we're good to each other and when we help each other, that helps us get so much further working together. There's people within the population who have needs. Find ways to be a vehicle to help meet those needs. Find ways to participate, whether it's volunteering, whether it's working with agencies, whether it's just being kind to one another. But place an emphasis on helping others. And as you're helping others, reach out when you need help so that others can be an assistance to you.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, CEO of T. Scott Consulting. If you or somebody out there knows somebody that can use the services of T. Scott Consulting, please contact them. Please be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast platform and visit www.curveball337.com for more information on the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast. Thank you for listening and supporting the show. And Tava, you know the world needs more people like you and your husband. So thank you guys for all the work that you do, and thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you, Curtis. Thank you for having me. Again, I'm honored to be here, and you continue the good work that you're doing as well.
For more information on the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, visit www.curveball337.com. Until next time, keep living the dream.